my big picture takeaway from yesterday's game at Atlanta is that Shannon Sharpe was all-time lucky, because you can go ahead and puff on your black and mild. You can put it in. I don't care. Put it in. Because the injury gods should also be lighting up with you.
What injury gods?
Because all that happened yesterday was that late in the first quarter, Sean Lee pulled his hamstring again.
Oh, my goodness.
And that was it. Ball game. As soon as they came back from commercial on Fox, and Joe Buck said, we're about to tell you about how the Cowboys just lost their best linebacker, my heart fell into my stomach, and I got nauseous for the rest of the game because I knew it was game over. I'm going to say this again. I've been consistent in this position. The Dallas Cowboys would have won yesterday if Sean Lee had stayed healthy, number one.
Yeah, Bayless,
and number two,
stop.
the Cowboys have no chance to win any game without Sean Lee. Because remember, the defense is a pretty starless defense. Rod Marinelli's scheme is the star of the defense, and they got nothing but kids in the secondary. Do you want me to name all of them?
No.
They got kids everywhere. They're starting 2 rookies in the secondary.
Was that a kid that intercepted Matt Ryan?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a kid.
Oh, okay. He grew up real fast then, huh?
Well, he's a raw rookie.
Okay.
Out of Louisiana Tech.
Okay.
You're talking about Xavier Woods.
You got to take the good and the bad.
Okay, but I'm saying they're all rookies or first-year players. So Sean Lee is the Dak Prescott of the defense. He is the leader. He is the quarterback. He is the play caller, the signal caller, and he is the driving force. He can, as we've had Rob Ryan sitting right here, who coached him in Dallas, says he's a freak because he can cover, he can hole plug, and he can pass rush. He does all of the above. And if he is out, this defense slowly but surely loses cohesion, it loses its way, it loses confidence, it loses heart, and it ultimately loses the football game.
Okay, I get all that. But tell me, okay, I get the point. I get Sean Lee is out.
Yep.
And that's the 27. Well, tell me about the Dak in the 7.
Okay, I'm going to finish on, is it my turn or not?
It's your
You're trying
turn.
to redirect my argument? Do I get to talk about my argument?
Talk about it.
So, again, did they not hold Matt Ryan down in the first quarter? They did a pretty good job on Matt Ryan the whole first half.
It's a 4-quarter game.
Yeah, and then all hell broke loose. And I knew as soon as Sean Lee went out, it was over. That was ball game. And the point is, in the big picture, that Sean Lee goes out, and what did Jason Garrett immediately do? On the next Cowboy possession, what happened? It got to 4th and 8 at the 4th and 7 at the Atlanta 38-yard line. And what did Jason Garrett do? Because he saw the handwriting. He knew what was coming.
What did he do?
He ran a fake punt pass. Chris Jones throwing to Bryce Butler. Can we see that if we have that? Here we go. It was a beautiful throw. He threw it about as well as Dak can throw a pass. And Bryce Butler had to push off because Robert Alford sniffed it out, because Bryce Butler is not your usual gunner. So when he splits out, they sniffed it out.
Yeah.
They were all over it, but he caught the ball and went 16 yards down to the 21. And if you go in and score there, and once you get Dak close to that red zone, better look out, because he's really good in the red zone. If they go in and score and it's 14-3, maybe they could hang on. I don't know. But we saw what happened against the Rams. What happened? 24-13 Cowboys in the first half. What happened in the second half? Disaster struck, right?
Yeah.
What happened against Aaron Rodgers? 21-6 Dallas in the first half. What happened in the second half? Disaster struck because Sean Lee wasn't there for either of the second halves. So Jason Garrett does something he would never, ever do. He runs a fake punt because he is scared to death that they cannot hold off Matt Ryan after losing Sean Lee. And
Matt Ryan. You talking about, Matty Ryan, the one that you say he reverted back to the ways before he was MVP? That Matt Ryan?
Yeah.
They worried about him.
He's pretty shaky.
Little old Matt.
So here they came. So in the first half, little old Matt Ryan, he went 11 of 17 for 94 yards. That's not exactly, would you call those MVP numbers? I'm letting you talk. Would you defend his 94 yards in the first half? MVP with 1 interception?
No.
I think not.
What about
but in the second half, he goes 11 of 12 for 121 and 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. Oh, now you're back to being Matt Ryan because there's no Sean Lee. And Dallas's defense loses heart the way Denver's lost heart last night in the last 2 games because Brock Osweiler is at quarterback. But that's a whole nother issue. So in the second half, The Atlanta Falcons have 212 total yards. They have 91 yards rushing in the second half after only 41 in the first half. Why is that, Shannon Sharpe? No Sean Lee. What happened on the first play of the second half? Remember
Coleman.
Tevin Coleman? You remember?
Yeah,
17?
okay.
Can we see that play real quick? I got to say, I love Jalen Smith. He's a great, heartwarming story because he is a great kid. Here we go. This is the first play of the second half. Uh-oh. Jalen, you went the wrong way. He goes over and runs into Anthony Hitchens plugging the right side of the line. What are you doing? What are you doing? And all of a sudden, Tevin Coleman is loose. He's loose, and he goes for 17 yards, and they're off to the races. And before you know it, it's 17-7.
Hold on, Skip. But here's my thing. You've known Sean Lee since he's been in Dallas. What is his history? Injury.
Head injuries. Head injuries. This is an unusual new deal.
Hold on.
He's missed games with a hamstring pull.
I just want to make sure. He's never had a knee injury since he's been in Dallas.
He's had all sorts of things.
Exactly.
He's had mostly head injuries.
So now all of a sudden
he blows himself up.
Now all of a sudden, because he's injured, now you're like, oh, I can't believe he's injured.
Hamstring.
He's always been injured since he's been in Dallas. But carry on.
Now, to Chaz Green. What did I sit right here and tell you on Friday? Sitting right in this seat.
You told me a lot of stuff.
I told you that the loss of Tyron Smith at left tackle would be a bigger loss than Ezekiel Elliott would be to the offense because they don't have an obvious backup for him, although Chaz Green has been pretty good. And this is what I want our viewers to understand. Chaz Green started 2 games at left tackle last year for Tyron Smith. Now, they weren't against great opponents. They were against the Bears and the 49ers.
Wow.
But guess how many sacks he allowed in those 2 games? How about 0? Guess what happened to start the year? Chaz Green won the job in the preseason at left guard. And he started the first 3 games. And what happened in those first 3 games? They beat the Giants and they beat Arizona at Arizona, and they got demolished. Obviously, the whole team didn't show up at Denver.
And then what happened?
But they went 2 out of 3 games, and then he got hurt. That's what happened. He got hurt. Okay. And then when he came back from injury, he had lost his job to Jonathan Cooper, who didn't have a very good game yesterday either. But the point is, if you had told me going into the game, who did I fear the most in pass rush? Help me out. You know the Falcons. Did you fear Adrian Claiborne?
You said Vic Beasley.
Yeah, heck yes. Who wouldn't say Vic Beasley? What do you think they said in their film, in their meetings? What do you think they said? Number 1, what's our number 1 priority? Vic Beasley. Who would be second on that list? Do you know Brooks Reed?
I do.
He got a late sack.
But here's the thing. If you notice, they never put Vic Beasley on Chaz Green's side.
Okay, all right.
You know why? Because Abe Claiborne had it going, and he has more of a repertoire. Vic Beasley.
Baloney. He's listed second on the depth chart. He's not even a starter.
Who?
Adrian Claiborne. I wasn't even sure he was still in the league, and I loved him coming out of Iowa. You can check the tape because I was campaigning for somebody to take him high, and Tampa Bay took him in the first round. And he actually had a very good first year. He had 7.5 sacks for the Bucs. And then he got hurt, and then he tailed off, and then he fell out of favor. And he's listed number 2 on the depth chart because I feared in order Vic Beasley and Brooks Reed, who's really good, and that kid Tack McKinley from UCLA.
Yeah.
He can rush the passer. Those are the 3 I feared.
No. This dude right here with that wax on, wax off move, Skip.
How many sacks did he have coming in?
He
had 2. He had 2 for the year.
Now he got 8.
How many times had Dak been sacked the whole year? 10 times.
He got 8 yesterday.
He got sacked 8 times. So all of a sudden, Adrian Claiborne has the second most sacks in NFL history, only 1 off the all-time record. DT.
And here's the thing, he should have had 7 because he had Dak again, and Dak, I don't know how Dak got out of that.
3 other times. Seriously, he should have had 3 more sacks. Any smaller quarterback, who could we think of? Like Case Keenum. He goes down. He's going to go down 3 more different times.
Skip, guess what? Everybody talk, oh, look at that, poor Dak. Russell Wilson say, y'all didn't say poor Russell. Y'all don't say poor Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, but Russell Wilson's the all-time escape artist. I don't think I've ever seen anything like him escape in the pocket.
Give him that offensive line at Dallas and you win your Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Give Kirk Cousins that offensive line and you got to pay him $115 guaranteed.
So the biggest shock of any game I've ever watched was how little Chaz Green could do against Adrian Claiborne for the whole game. I've never in my life seen anything worse.
It happens sometimes.
It looked like Chaz Green didn't even want to try to block Adrian Claiborne.
Skip.
He was whiffing every time. He wasn't even touching him.
Skip.
Chaz Green is a third-round pick out of Florida, third year in the league. He's not that bad. I don't know what happened.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.